welcome back to the channel. And it's a lovely day outside, so I've got all the doors open, and so you might hear the occasional sound from a neighbour. They're busily working on a vehicle or two. But after successfully gluing up all the panels last time, we're now on to the point of actually detailed which pieces are going to get cut and in what order. Now, thinking back to the previous project I had, which was the sewing box, I realised that I needed to have some detailed ideas as to how the joints were going to work. It's not just a case of this is the length, this is what joint I'm going to put, because of some of the detailing. So what I've gone and done over the past few weeks, I've been working with just some of the very basic sketches to give me overall dimensions. But what I did last week, after I wished you all goodbye, I've gone and drawn a lot of the joints full size, so I can actually visualize what's happening. It started off not full size, but these uprights that I've got on the bench, that's where I'm starting from. So what I need to do is decide which one is going where. So just a rough sketch. I've marked A, B, C and D for box 1, E, F, G and H for box 2. So those will get labelled on the uprights, so I know exactly where I'm putting them. Right, so that was the starting point. Then what I did, and I think I'm a piece of paper missing, and after a frantic search I realised that they're in the shed all the time, just underneath another piece of paper. But anyway, this is the one I want, because this has got more of the details on it. So I'll put them all, a photograph of them on the screen so you can see exactly what I'm doing. But and I'll talk you through all of the little details when I do put them on the screen. But that's what I've been doing. So today it's a matter of setting out the work and working out exactly which piece is going to go where. So again, it's all preparation, and there's not good. I can't see me getting through any actual woodwork today, but at least it's going to tell me what I need to do when. Let's crack on. So we're starting with the original plans that I drew at 1:5 scale. These are the two cupboards basically with their overall dimensions. Now this first slide is for cupboard number 2, which is the larger of the two, it's wider. And here the second of the cupboards, 810mm wide, and this plan has got the side detail for the panelling as well. Now you'll notice that there's a hidden detail on one of the uprights for the middle rail. That's the shelf support. Now the position does need to change a little, because as you'll find out later on in the video, my wife wants positioning as it is in the existing cupboard, so the position needs to move nearer the top. And there's also a possible error in, again, underestimating how many panels I need. Again, I'm going to be looking at that later on, and I'll get back to you in a later video. Now here we've got the rough sketch of the uprights, and this is just so that I can visualize which piece goes where, and hopefully I'll be able to put all the components together correctly. Now for the doors, again, 1 to 5 scale. Now I think I might be a little too ambitious. You'll notice the shape of the upper rail of the doors, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to be able to fit the panels with that curved top, but I'll have a look at that in more detail nearer the time. Now here we've got the 1:1 scale of the top rear rail, which is 100mm wide, with its 2 tenons going into the hidden detail in the left hand upright. And you'll notice the small details at the bottom. That's where I suddenly realized that on some of these pieces I'm going to have a cutout for the paneling. So that is all to fit in with that, and hopefully I'll be able to work out exactly what needs to go where, and certainly using spare timber, as you'll see me in later on in this week's video, actually doing something in real times, because I have just that block with 3D visualization. Anyway, let's get back to today's video. Now you'll see at this end what I had done in a previous attempt to sort things out before I realised just what I needed to do. What I had done is marked a line across all of the legs, the uprights, just so that I've got a reference, and at the other end, just here, I've marked off 760mm from the end, that reference line. The reason I've done that is to give me a little bit of working room at both ends. I'm not going to be cutting right on this line. I like to offset things by about 10mm. So 10mm from this end, 10mm from that end. That will be the 740 length, and then I start marking from those 10mm offsets. So that's the next thing, just mark off those 10mm, then that will give me the 740 length for all of these uprights. So 10mm, and I made sure I sharpened my pencil, and that's another thing. I was using one of the school desk type pencil sharpeners, but that got dropped and the plate broke. I can still use it, but it's a little difficult, so I think I'm going to have to get myself another one. Anyway, so 10mm across. And it's not quite long enough. The square isn't quite long enough. There we go. And £10mm from there. There we go. So that, in theory, should be 740mm. I'm glad I double checked, because that is actually 738. I am glad I double checked that, because it would throw everything out. So 740 is actually there, it's 2mm out. Let's double check again. There's something that many people have mentioned to me is measure twice, cut once. So yes, that is now 740mm. So that's the end. That's the one I'm working with. Good. Right, now according to the plans, the mortises from the top, so that this far end to your left is going, I will make the top, and the actual mortises are going to be using the 6mm chisel, inset from the outside by 5mm, so they're not going to be in the middle, and then it's going to be 10mm from that last reference line that I've just redrawn, so 10mm in, and the mortise will be 26mm long. So that's what the next step, mark off 10mm, and again draw a line across, 26, draw a line across. That will be the length of the mortise, both at the bottom and at the top. Okay. That's the length of the mortise, and I'll come to drawing that in a wee while. But so that is the outside of the workpiece. What I've done here is this is turned 90 degrees, so that mortise there is that dotted line area there. So this is where I really need to now mark which upright is going where, because I'm going to have to be turning these in a few minutes, so I can put them at 90 degrees to each other. Okay, but anyway, that's the length of the mortise marked at the bottom. Let me just do the top. Now you'll see from the drawing that I've got that box A, box number 1, upright A and B are at the back, C and D are at the front. So let me just put that there for you. This is the top rail style. So treating the upright as the style, the rail at the top. But this one is at the back, so this is pieces A and B, E and F. So this piece is, say, A, and here we've turned it 90 degrees, or that is B and this is turned 90 degrees. So, and then what I do at the front, it will be again turning everything 90 degrees, C, C, D, D. I hope that's going to be simple enough for me to remember and work out. So, right, let me mark which piece is which. Right, so from the drawing, that is the side that is going to take the side panel. The 90-degree cut here, that's the slot for the side panel, which is dotted lined because it's hidden, of course. So piece A, if that is going to have the mortise there and the panel channel there, then the 90-degree mark will be there, so that, no, it won't, it will be there. I'm glad I'm thinking this one through. Right, so B, if that is going to have the channel, then it will be that side for, and the mortise will be here for the top rail. So C, if that is going to take the mortise and the channel, then that will be like that, and then D, that's going to have the channel eventually decided which way it's going to go. It's going to go that way. Right, so box 2 is going to be identical in its piece movements. So that one goes that way. And that one goes that way. That one goes that way. And that one goes that way. Right, so next thing is to mark off the reference, all the reference lines on both ends. Then I can start marking where these mortises are going to go. So those are the 2 or 3. No, I want that one and that one. So that's the line that I will be cutting to when I trim everything to length, and that's where I will be measuring everything from. So all I need to do now is on these just mark round that first line, then I can use the square to mark across with that line. So let me just do the bottom line. There we go. So on the rest of them, just transfer the top and the bottom cut line, and then I can mark across with the others. In fact, I've just thought, no, all I need to do is that top reference line, then I can line everything up. Okay, that will be a little quicker. Everything up. Oh, I'm glad I've spotted these. Not quite. There we are. So now I can transfer those across. So as I did with the top, the plan calls for a 10mm offset from the bottom, so that's that gap, then it's 26mm, so 26mm from there. Oh, that's clever. I'll tell you what, let me use this drawing pencil. Now, all of those at the bottom are going to have 26mm long mortises. Those are standard throughout both cupboards. All of the bottom mortises are 26mm. At the top, the rear of the cupboards are going to have a 100mm wide rail. That's going to take all of the weight of the cupboards as they're hanging on the wall, because I will be screwing through this. Now, because it's a 100mm wide, what I'm doing is giving them two mortises, mortise and tenons on each end of this is the top rear rail. So just going back to my little sketch, so the rail between A and B, E and F, those are both 100mm wide, and they're both going to have 2 mortises. The mortises are going to be 35 in length each, with a 10mm gap in between. So that all of the others are 26mm at the top. So because that is the one, the side looking at the panel for the side panel of the whole workpiece. So that the side with the side panel is going to have 26mm. Going that way, it's 2 35mm tenons. So this is going to be A and B, E and F are both going to have those. Okay. So A and B are those two. A and B, yep. And then E and F are those two. Which means these four, which should be C and D, G and H, those are just going to have the 26mm. So let me just get this right. Where I've marked the A and B, those are the sides that will have the side panels. Okay, so A is there, so let me get another piece of timber to just give me some idea. So the side panels will be there, and so the top rail will go in there. Okay, I've got those reference marks. So a side panel there, but the top rail will go in there. So it will be that one and that one. And then same with E and F. So using the A and B model, E, F. Right, so let's bring them over here. So we're going for, that's the cut line, which is there, 10mm offset, which is there on all of them. So the length of these is 35mm. So I don't need that one, just to make sure. 35mm, 10mm, 35, 10, 20, 30, 35, there. So those are the 4 lines. So that's that one. Okay, so that's those. So one mortise, 10mm gap, second mortise, 10, yeah, okay, because the 100mm from the top will go there, which is 10mm after the end of the last mortise. Good, that's worked out well. Now then, let's put those on one side for a minute while I bring these in. Let me just double check which way I'm taking these. So C will be facing A there for the bottom rail. Sorry, the top rail. Okay, but so that will be like that. But it will, so it needs to be that way. I did wonder when I worked it last time. So I've got to rework those. All right. So I want that gap marking, so that will be okay. So this is the side with all of the mortise and panel slot. So I will be working from this side and this side, this side and this side. So 5, actually finished a piece of lead. Okay. I'm not having much success with this lead, am I? that's that. But I just want to double check. That's the top cut line, that's the 10mm offset. All of these are out. These that's the 10mm offset, so it's 26mm from there. Not that one. Not that one. So it's 26 is there. So let me realign these and redraw them. And what I'm going to do is just clamp to hold them so they don't move. So, that one, or that one. But I do want, so start from there, 26 going to there. Right, so that's that. So that's where I'm putting the edge of the mortise, so that will go 6mm that way, and then 6mm that way, 6 that way, 6 that way. Okay, so that's that. Then the channel for the panel will go so the top rail is 46 from this top cut line, so 46 from the cut line, 46mm will be there. So that's where the top rail will go. So the panel, the channel for the panel, I can't think what the term I should be using is, but it goes it's inset 5mm beyond that, because it's going to go 5mm into each of the rails. So if if that's where the 46mm is, it will be so 46, 41. The channel will end there, and the mortise, that's 5, that should be 5mm. Yes. Okay, so that's where the channel will end. So it will run the whole length of the uprights from here to its corresponding 5mm offset from the bottom mortise. Okay, so let me so I know which ones I'm doing. Okay, so that's that. Now turn them all round, and I can mark the edges of the mortises for this one as well. It was at the bottom edge, so it's this edge here. And then it's bottom edge, so it's this edge here. Right, that's those four. Then I'll just do the marking of the edge for the mortises on the other set. Right, that's taken quite a long time, in fact virtually all afternoon, but I think I've got to where I need to be with all of the uprights. So I've marked which upright is which. I've marked where all of the mortises need to be cut on both sides. I've marked not just the end, the offset, the length, but where the side that I'm cutting from. So that's all upright. So next week I can actually get on with cutting those mortises. Having said that, no, not quite. I also need to mark off one more set of mortises. And I mention this because it's something that my wife pointed out to me, and I'm glad she did, because I would have made a terrible mistake otherwise. The two cupboards, so which one is it? It's, yes, I will find the piece of paper. That's it. Cupboard number 1, so that's the left hand cupboard. I had intended to put a shelf in both cupboards about halfway down. My wife said, no, I've got to replicate where the existing shelves are situated in these new ones, otherwise she won't be able to fit varying things in. So next time, just prior to cutting all of the mortises, I've got to mark where the middle mortise is for the shelf support, and as soon as I've done that, I can then start cutting. Right, I'm glad I mentioned that to myself. Hopefully I will remember. So all you've seen me do this week is make some pretty pencil marks on wood. I hope it's been helpful. It's been helpful to me in talking it through, because it's helping me to visualize things in 3D. But thanks for coming along with me. If you've got any comments, please let me know. I really do value the things that you say in the comments, and I'll see you next time.